3, 2, 1, go. All right, great job so far. So there's these little details, and I think they might be recessed, kind of like the mouth. I mean, if you want to. So it's the body. Let's go to the body, and let's add I think we did a box before. So we're just going to shrink it to size. The building's pipes, I don't know if you can hear that. We'll kind of place it. Let's go ahead and paint it. Whoop. Make sure you don't touch any other things. If you have a problem and you keep on doing that, you can hit the lock. Where's the little lock? There's a little, here's the shortcuts. There is a lock, so you can hit that, and then you won't hit something else by accident. I don't really use it that often. Usually I'm just a dum-dum and I just accidentally hit stuff, but I should. So let's make it a little smaller. I think it's like maybe that size or so. So I think that looks good. So this will just be chest detail or chest buttons. I don't know. We'll just put deets for now. We can go ahead and rotate it a bit. I think it's going to be something like that. I mean, I guess we can just make it. I'll change the colors so you can see it a little bit better. We might as well just make it flush with the surface. That's probably the better thing to do. Maybe a little bit like this. Okay, I think that will work. So now I want to tap the 3 dots, post subdivision to 2, and then bring the linear, bring the linear subdivision down so it's nice and round. Bring it down to 6. Can probably go smaller, but that's all right for now. And I think that's good. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go ahead and validate it. So we have chest deets. We'll clone it. And we'll move the clone down because there's 2 of them. So I think that feels about right. Pull it out a little bit more. Okay, I think those are good for now. So I'm just going to nestle these with each other. Let's save. We can paint them black. Okay, good. So we got some details going there. Next, we can do the legs. We can keep the legs pretty simple. Let's add a cylinder. And this will be, let's rename this legs base. Because I feel like there's like a little bit of a base coming out first and then the leg. So we'll bring it down, do a little shrink, move it over. Okay, and I want to rotate it, and then I want to shrink it this way. So maybe something like that. And I want to make this part bigger and this part smaller. Okay, I'm going to use Gizmo again, and I want to rotate it so that there's a little bit more top than bottom. Okay, I think that's good. Let's go ahead and mirror it. I want to make sure that there's enough space in the middle. So I'm going to hit align so that I can just move it straight out this way. So we can get the perfect amount of space. Although, let's see. So if I turn it this way, it looks like we need to rotate it a little bit. Let's take align off and let's rotate it a little bit towards us with that red arrow. Yeah. I think that works. Good, so now we can go ahead and do we can make it a softer cylinder. So we'll do post subdivision to 2. And then we'll go ahead and bring this down. Yeah, probably something like that I think is perfect. Okay, so this is the leg base. All right, so let's actually clone the whole thing, and let's name this one legs. So we'll take the leg base. So we can go to these options and we can stretch this, and this will just be the other leg. We use the gizmo. I was thinking about using the tube, but I think this is fine. Because it's actually really small, the legs. It's actually extremely small. So maybe even something like that. I think that works. And we probably could have used the same thing for the bottom part of the legs, but I think I want to, let's just add a fresh cylinder. I'm going to take the cylinder and bring it out. And let's go ahead and move it where it needs to go. So we'll move it down, we'll shrink it. And now is kind of where it'll be easier, it'll be easier for us to have a floor. So we'll move it up. So let's bring back the grid. And let's just move everything up. So I'm going to select everything, even the cameras. Okay, so I want to make sure I hit front. So you see that red line? Let's move this up past the red line. Okay, so maybe right around there. And let's add a floor. So we'll just add a box. We'll put the top right up against that line, and we can actually just turn smooth shading off. So we just have a regular box. And now I will turn the grid off because I hate the grid. Okay, so we'll take this, and I think I want it, there's a little bit of space where the foot is, but let's stretch it out to about there for now, about here. Let's make it round. I think that looks pretty good. So it looks like this might be a little bit smaller here. Let's move it up a little bit more. Okay, I think that might be decent. I know it looks odd now. Let's make this a little wider on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to make this smaller. there. Make this a little bit bigger. And I think I want to tilt this. So I'm going to use Gizmo and just tilt it a little bit. So I might need to stretch it so that I can trim the bottom as well. Let me make it a little bit bigger. Because we're going to have to trim the top and the bottom. So let's move this up. Okay, because I want this kind of to be a little bit straight down. So let's see how this works. So let's validate it. And then let's take trim. Make sure that, okay, we're on the cylinder. This is going to be the shin. Okay, so we want to use trim. And do we want to use symmetry? I don't think we want symmetry. If we do, we want the front and the back. So let's do symmetry. Let's do local. Oh no, that's going to trim this way and this way, so we don't want that. Nope. Maybe just Z. So Z and local, and we're going to use trim, whoops, trim and symmetry and line. So let's try to make a line here for this part. Okay, that's decent. We got a little bit of a weird artifacts there, but I think we should be able to fix that. Oh, and also let's move all this stuff back so it's in the middle of the pelvis. So let's take shin, leg base, and just move it all back so it's centered. You always want your characters, if you print them, you want them to be able to stand up. Okay, it's not too bad, but I'm not sure if this will work. This trim might have been a little bit too... So I'm going to try trimming again. Okay, that might be a little bit better. So we'll trim there, and also we want to trim the bottom. Oh, see, there actually is, if I turn it on its side, it's lower here, and then it comes up. Okay, so let's just take move, since we have the blue line, and we can pull this part down to around the floor. And then this part goes up. So I think the better option is just to use move. And I'm going to turn symmetry off and maybe just lift up here. So if we lift up there, we can also lift up the back some. Okay, I think that should work. So I'm going to take the gizmo and shrink it a bit because it's a little long right now. I'm going to move it up. So let's voxel remesh this, probably around 150. And let's take smooth and just see if we can smooth this out. See if it looks clean. It looks pretty clean. Yeah, I think it looks pretty clean. Okay, so for the feet, we can use a sphere. So let's move it into place. Okay, so the back is like this. If we stretch it, we like the heel to come out a little bit, so that looks good for the heel. But now we just need the front part to come out. So I'm going to turn it so it's looking this way. Whoops. And let's see, let's go ahead and validate it. Let's use select mask with rectangle, and then let's just mask off this part. And then we can take, we can take the gizmo and we can just stretch the front part. And we can shrink, and then we can pull it forward, which looks pretty good. I think that looks great. So let's go back to select mask and clear it. And then let's take trim, with rectangle, and then we'll trim the bottom. So I'm going to trim right underneath. I'm not going to go flush with the foot, right underneath. So it looks like that. Okay, so now let's voxel remesh this. 150 should do it. And we can either smooth, or we can use our little beaker again and try to smooth it this way. That looks good. We just have to adjust the position. Okay, we'll widen them a little bit. I think that looks great. All right, let's make sure I didn't make him a little too tall. I think he needs to be a little shorter. So I'm actually going to take, let's see, we have these are the feet. And actually we can take everything except for the floor. Where's the floor at? Let's leave that on the bottom. Let's name it floor or FLR. We can go ahead and validate it. And now let's take everything else. Whoops. Even the cameras. Actually, we can leave the cameras. And let's just move this down. So we'll move that down. I can take this and shrink it and move it back up. And then I can take the foot and bring that up. Okay. And we can take move. I think I'm going to move this little piece here. And we don't need symmetry really, but I'm just going to adjust it so it looks nice and flush on the foot. And so this part looks nice and round and even. Probably should have made it a little bit bigger so it's smoother, but I think it looks nice. Okay, it looks like this, somehow I kind of messed up this part. So I'm going to try to just straighten that out a bit. And once I like it, I'm going to voxel remesh it again, maybe around 175 or so, and just try to smooth it out. I don't like how I sort of messed that part up. So I might go back and change it, but I think it's really just like extra details. Okay, so I think what we want to do now is we can mirror all of these things to the other side. Okay, so we'll take the palm, we'll add a mirror. We can validate, and this will be palm, cylinder, we can add a mirror. And then we have the little fingers. Okay, so we might have to, we can actually bring these to where the cylinder is, we can just add them to that mirror. So let's make this fingers. Okay, palms, fingers. Probably could have done the same thing with palms, but that's okay. So arms, neck. Let's go ahead and validate arms. And let's paint arms black. We have all the fingers, yep, so we can go to the legs. So shins, we can add a mirror. We can validate. Shins. And feet. You can actually decimate this. Let's go to, let's go up to voxel, or go up to this option, miscellaneous, decimate. And I want it to be target triangles, 50%, that's fine. So let's just decimate this. So we're gonna make this the size smaller. So this is for the feet. Also, if you have quad remesher, you can go to quad remesher and do it that way. I'll do quad remesher because I have it. And actually I'm gonna go back and do that to the legs. Because see how I have the shin here. So you can decimate before you make the mirror, because that'll just make the sizes smaller. So you can either do it the way that I said here with miscellaneous and decimate. That's going to make the sizes a lot smaller. Or if you have quad remesher like I do, and I'll show you the difference really quick. So let's turn on the wireframe. So this is the topology of the shin. You can see it's very dense. This is not very dense. And you can see the densities of everything. So this is a very simple shape. So if we go here, miscellaneous, and we hit decimate, see how it's making those a little bit bigger. So the thing is, you have to be careful because it can lower the quality of the look of the visuals because it's taking resolution away. So you can do it that way. You can't really see it if you're not looking at the wireframe, so it's fine. But the more efficient way to do it, the more efficient way is to use quad remesher, and we can probably just turn symmetry off. And then, like, for example, this is 57K. Let's say we want to do 10,000. Oops, did it work? There we go. So you can see that it's just a lot cleaner. The topologies in squares and quads instead of triangles, it's just a lot cleaner. So we might be able to do it again. Let's see if we really are losing much. Not really. So we can keep it there, and then I can go ahead and add a mirror, and then we can add the mirror to it. So those are just ways to make some of these shapes smaller. So now we'll go down to the feet, and the feet are really big. They don't really need to be that big, so I'm going to do the same thing. I think I might be able to keep symmetry on. Let's see if it flips it over there. So if I do half, or let's see if I just do 10,000. Let's see if it makes another one over there. I honestly don't know. I think it will. Yeah. So now the feet, each foot, oh no, both feet. Yeah, both feet are 9,000. So that's not too terrible. We can turn the wireframe on and look at them, and then we can say, okay, maybe we want to do half of that. Still looks fine to me. Might even be able to get away with another half and have them still look pretty good. 2,000, 2,000. So now I'll just go through all of these, and I can see what what will look fine if I lower the resolution. Okay, this little piece. So this piece, I just want to make sure that we can see it clearly. So I'm going to rotate it. think that looks pretty good. So I'll go ahead and validate. Looks great. We'll take both the leg bases and we'll validate. We'll take the legs, we can validate. Take the shins and validate. Okay, so let's go back to the body because we need to make these little details here. So I think what we want to do, so we have the body and the pelvis. The pelvis can also be, I can make that smaller, but I showed you how to make things smaller, so you can go back and do that. Let's go ahead and worry about this chest first. So we need to take these two little pieces. So we'll take these deets, and then we'll take the body. And well, let's take the deets first and let's clone them. I forgot about that almost. So we'll hide the clones, and then we'll take these and the body, and then hide these. So that's going to make these little these little punch outs. So now we can do boolean and boolean. So now we have those punch outs there. And let's see what happens if we turn smooth shading off. So if we go to the material tab and we turn smooth shading off, see how clean that is? That does look very clean. I want to see what it looks like if I trim the bottom. It's pretty clean. I must say, it's very clean. What if I take this and I turn smooth shading off? If I trim that, is take everything from the body up. So maybe not the pelvis, but the body, the fingers, the palm, all this, the head, the neck, the arms, these chest things, the eyes, the mouth. So I think that's everything. We could always bring this down. It looks good. It looks nice. Looks clean. Okay, let's do save. I think I like that. All right, so let's change the background so we can see it a bit easier. So we'll tap here. We'll tap the little color. Something like that. So we'll go to the little sun tab. We'll change from matte cap to lit PBR. Oh, there was something that I forgot. So let's take these little chest details. Oh, I forgot they're connected. So let's I'm going to unconnect them. I'm going to take each one and I'm just going to adjust it. They don't need to be that big. So I'm just going to adjust them until they're just flush with the body. So I'll save. And now I'm just kind of going through and making some of these smaller, some of the sizes. So if I do half for the body, it's just going to cut the sizes down. And it pretty much still looks the same. The neck is small. These little details, these we can actually join together. Make them nice and small. Let's bring all this stuff that's on top up. So neck, eyes, mouth. We'll take this and we'll validate. Mouth looks good, arms. Armor looks good, we can validate. Fingers, I think they all look pretty good. Pelvis, leg base, legs. These two we can just join, they're both black. And we can paint them black. We can tap here, paint them black. I can't see it though because of the quad remesher. Oh, this is the shins. And actually, you know what? The armor, I think I might want to separate. because sometimes I like to color them different colors. Okay, so we have the leg base. I'm just going to name it leg black, so I remember which part of the leg it is. Armor shin. Armor feet. We'll name this armor deets. Okay, we'll save. Cool, so now let's turn off the lights. So we'll go to the little sun icon, we'll turn the environment off, and then we will add our first light. Let's hit align and let's move this over. And it's looking pretty good. It's actually hitting right at the spot where we want. So let's just dial this up to maybe a little bit over 2. Just make it a little bit brighter. Let's actually do closer to there. And I think that's pretty good. Okay, so for the paint, so we wanted a little off-white, I think. And it looks like it's right around there as far as glossiness goes. And then we'll just make all these the same. Okay, so we have our first light. Let's tap this little pencil and name this key. And then we can clone this and name this edge. But let's move it over and swing it around so we get light bouncing off the edge. Although he doesn't really have any in the image. So I'm going to put this here, but we might not keep it. I'm going to hit the little eyeball for now, because it really looks like he only has like this one light on him. Let's go to the camera and let's change to perspective. So now when we see the front, we're going to see this as well. Let's open up his little box a little bit so you can see that little shadow. Okay, we can turn on post-processing. Just press the little thing there and then we'll do post-processing. So that should lighten it up. Let's make this the same color as the background, or we'll at least try to match it. I'll try to match it by eye. Okay, let's take a look at our, oh, it's still not too bad. Back to perspective. Okay, I'm just gonna add a new view. Okay. Oh, it looks like he might have some light over there actually. I think he does. Let's take this light and let's turn it down a bit. And maybe we'll make it a little darker and warmer. Let's turn the environment back on and then let's lower the exposure to try and match the level of the shadow. It looks like we might need more shadow. Oh, that's actually not too bad. That's pretty good. But it looks like for the other light, for this edge light, let's get it a little more on him so it's a little brighter. So I don't really want this pop of light. Let's try a point light. We'll move it over, maybe even behind him a little bit. You can still see it, but it might actually look a little bit better. So that's 2 lights. Let's add another light. Let's add it over here. So we'll make it a little brighter over here, maybe a little brighter coming down. So maybe something like that. And then it'd be nice if we had these little pops in the eye. So we might have to take the eyes and make them a little glossier. So we'll go back to black and then lower the roughness. And let's go to the little sun. And we'll hit add. Let's try another point light. And let's see if we can get it in the eye. It's a little tricky to get it exactly where I want it. I want it like there, but it's a little tricky. Let's turn the intensity down. Maybe if we put it a little closer, we can get more of a round light. Let's try even closer. Okay, and maybe we'll just turn it way down so we get the pop, but it's not making it too bright. Okay, let's go back to post-process. And I usually use DFD. I think I'm going to use none. And I'll just start from scratch. So we want to turn that on. We want to turn global illumination on. I usually like to turn it all the way up. Ambient occlusion for sure. We'll turn the strength up a bit. And the size. Bring the curvature up. So maybe something like that. I don't think we need any of this. Yeah, I think it looks wonderful. I'll turn the environment up a little bit. Make it a little brighter. Let's go to the lights and let's make sure we go to each one of these lights. Let's see. Oh, and at camera, edge is not going to have it. This light should have it. This light will not have it. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. Feel free to go and adjust what you'd like to adjust. I want it a little bit more there, a little bit less curvature. Looks good. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and turn the reference image off. We'll make this a little bigger. And let's add another camera angle. We'll name this 4. We'll save. And then of course you can export. Just go all the way to the bottom here. I think I'm gonna get rid of this floor for my export. So you can export screen. I'm going to do a transparent background. So you can export, and this export number is the same number for right here, max frame sampling. That's the number. So now we go back here, screen, transparent background, and I'll export this. Oh no, I don't want that though. And I just will tap something else. And then I'll go back and then I'll export. Okay, so there's the little guy. And we'll just save him to the computer for now, or to the iPad. And then if I want to do a turntable, I'll just tap here. This screen is usually where I start recording the Nomad turntable. And I'll do 000 and turntable. And there we are. But this is a really fun character. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned a lot. There's going to be many more like this. I love sculpting. This would actually be a great character to print. It would be a little toy. Hopefully one day I'll be able to print him. Keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video. So welcome to 3D Sculpt and Chill. I just want to try to articulate this little rascal. So this is kind of what people think is rigging, but it's not really rigging. But in my videos, it looks like rigging. It's really just hierarchy. So we have the head and the neck. So firstly, let's nestle the head under the neck. So that way, if we move the neck, we can also move the head. So the main thing you want to do, so here's an easy way to describe like nestling or hierarchy. So I have my arm, my hand, and my fingers. So like right now, you want to nestle everything under the arm. So we have the arm where the hand is connected to the arm. So if I move the arm around, the hand moves. So if I take the hand and I move the hand around, the fingers move. And if I take the fingers move. The pivot point you want to put here because you want the fingers to move from the pivot point. And the wrist and the hand, you want the pivot point to be here. That way the hand moves like this. So that's essentially what I'm going to do. So right now the neck and the head. So we want the neck, we want it to pivot like where the neck would pivot. So we go to the gizmo, pivot, and let's take a look at the side view maybe. So maybe like from here is probably good. Let me think. If he was going to lean back, nope. If he was going to lean back, let's put it back a little bit more. Let's not be a dum-dum and turn post-process off. So we probably want it around here, I think. So we'll do pivot. So that way if we rotate, yeah, that's the better spot. Obviously you can't go too far back, but so I think that's good. So we want to nestle the eyes, which are together. Why are the eyes sticking out so much? I thought they were in further. You can take group and you can do objects. Oh, but it still doesn't let me, let's take it off of a line. It still doesn't let me do them both. I wanted the eyes to be a little bit recessed. So I'm going to have to take the eyes, separate them, and I'll just delete one. And I'll delete this one, this thing. So now I want to take the eye and I want it recessed. So I have to do that. Even though it's like weird. Let's take pivot again. Let's rotate this so that we can easily move the eye where we want to move the eye. So I want this blue to be like right at the surface, pointing straight. Okay, so now we should be able to move this straight back in. And that's actually perfect, I think. There's not too much space. Make them a little rounder. Okay, but that looks perfect. Oh, it's just sticking out. This is so annoying. Okay, I think that's good. So now that we have that taken care of, I'm going to go ahead and add the mirror back and just join these. Mouth is good. So I'm going to take the eyes and nestle them with the head. Not the neck, I'm nestling them with the head. So if the head moves separate from the neck, the eyes will also move. Let's take the mouth and nestle that also with the head. Notice I'm not nestling them with the eyes. They're just going to be nestled with the head. And, okay, so that's the head. So here's the body. We want to nestle the neck with the body. So if the body moves, the neck will move. The pelvis, let me think. I think we want the body nestled to the pelvis as well. So if the pelvis goes back and forth, the body will also go back and forth. So we have the fingers nestled to the palms. I think that's everything. And then we have the wrists, which we can nestle the palms to the wrists, and this to the arms, and then the shoulder can be to the arms. Okay, so now if the arms move, those move. But the tricky part is we have to separate them now, actually. Let me go back to my orthographic. So for the arms, I need to separate and I need to just make a second one here. Everything needs to be separated. Okay, and I'm just going to bring arms and move it up. I'm going to move all these, all the ones, we're going to just move up. Fingers can be with the palms. Now the fingers, let's just take the arm shoulder out, delete all this stuff we don't need. So the shoulder, we need to also separate. Shoulder 2, shoulder 1. So the shoulder can be nestled to the arm itself. Then we have the wrist, the palms, the fingers. So the fingers we need to separate. It's going to be tricky. It's going to be really annoying. But okay, let's figure it out. Okay, those are those fingers. These can come out. And these can all be nestled to the palm. Palm can be nestled to the wrist. The wrist can be nestled to the arm. We can delete that. The shoulder can be nestled to the arm. Okay, let's bring these fingers back. Do a quick save. We'll save this as, just in case I mess it up. Okay, so this arm, let's go to the gizmo, pivot. I want to move this pivot here where I want the arm to rotate. Pivot. This pivot, same spot for this arm. Okay. The wrist is going to stay. Oops. Pivot. This should be, okay, it's in the middle. And I think we want it around here, maybe right in the middle there is a good place for that. Or maybe closer to this part. Because if this straightens out, we don't want it to get too crazy. So I think that's actually a good spot. Pivot. So let's do the same thing for this one. Okay, pivot. Hope I didn't just move something, did I? No, I didn't. Okay, for fingers, let's do X-ray. Let's do pivot. So maybe around here. That's good. here. You don't want it too deep into the little wrist part, or the palm part. So that's good for this pivot. Yeah, I think that's good. Okay, pivot. Put this back to auto. Let's go to these fingers. Whoop. I didn't really do the thumb. Thumb's kind of in a good spot. Let's do this finger. Whoop. Pivot. Okay, and the pinky. Okay. The wrist. Oh, we already did the wrist. Okay. So now this part of the leg, let's just split. Let's try that. So we'll split these two. This one, pivot, center, pivot. I think that might be a good spot, actually. Whoop. Maybe there. This one. Let's do center, pivot. Let's move it over a little bit. Okay, and then the feet. Let's split those as well. So this one, pivot, center, pivot. This one, pivot, center, pivot. Now we'll adjust the pivots to be a little bit higher. I feel like the bone would attach around here. Okay. Now the legs are going to separate. Okay, so that's that. So this is going to nestle under here. And we don't really want the legs to move if I move the pelvis, actually. But we want some way for the legs to move together. So maybe we'll just make a sphere. And just name it leg tilt. We'll make it small. And we'll just put it inside. We'll validate it. So now we can put that leg and this leg to the same leg tilt. This one can be with the leg black. This foot would be to the higher one, and that would be to the shin. This would be here and to the shin. The details would go to the body. So we'll just put those with the body. Okay. So now we should be able to take the body, the arms, Arms need to connect to the body. Arms need to connect to the body. Oh. Okay. So that works, but it's a little too much. Oh, the pelvis. Pelvis is what we want. The arm. Oh, this is wrong. So we need to switch these. Okay. And the top of these is the arm. Okay. See if this works. See if the neck works.
Why are you so interested in my apples?
The legs. So now if I wanted to, I could pose him. I could take the head and just tilt the head. Oh, and the foot too. Say we wanted leg up, foot. Ooh, that didn't work. Pivot. Maybe there? That's a little better. Let's move this pivot too. Leg up. Should put some black in there. All right. That's all, that's all. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. Be sure to like and subscribe. And if you want to go more in depth, then definitely check out my Skillshare classes where I am a top teacher. I have about 50 classes, both Procreate and Nomad Sculpt. I also have a few classes on Udemy, so if you want to learn more, or you just like my style, you like the way I teach, you want to support me, those are some other places that you can do it. Thanks again, keep drawing, keep sculpting. I'll see you all in the next video.